I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Hey, Thrand here, and today we have a very special episode. I guess a lot of times there's special episodes, but this was a viewer request. A lot of y'all know the slang out of Skyrim, an arrow to the knee. I used to be an adventurer like you, but I took an arrow to the knee. And, well, it's not an Old Norse term that I know of. I mean, I've read a lot of sagas. I read a lot of Scandinavian and Norse literature from back in the day. And no, I don't believe it probably was. I mean, if I'm wrong and somebody knows for sure out there and has a source to cite it, be sure and put that down below. But most likely an old warrior back in the day from Scandinavia would not say such a term because his wife would be quite angry if he used that as a slang for getting married, even though they probably went down on one knee to propose. If he said, I took an arrow to the knee about getting married, he might get a divorce because women could divorce back then. Second of all, when a man was married, that was even more incentive if he needed spoils for the family and money to survive to go aviv. That means to go adventuring, trading. That was the early Scandinavian version of adventuring, was to go to raid, trade, find a new settlement possibly that they could settle later on if they needed more land, and so on. So that's how they went about and did their thing. So what we're going to talk about now is, now we know it's not a Norse term, we had a viewer wanting to see leg armor, like knee armor, tested with a bow because of the arrow to the knee. So we're going to start off with hardened leather. I have a piece of hardened leather here. It's very, very thick. It could be a lot more beautiful, I guess, if I did it right, but it is hard as a rock. This is true hardened leather. We've seen in another video online, there's another channel where they tested a 110-pound longbow against 2 layers of material like this, and it actually stopped the arrows against the actual flat target that doesn't give like a body. But today we're going to be using a mannequin, and yes, the knee will be hard as the mannequin, but you can shoot arrows through the mannequin, we know this. But I'm going to put this on with a bit of padding. And this would be the lowest level armor I could think of something you might wear in Skyrim or possibly even back in the day. I mean, who knows? An early Scandinavian warrior might have had some hardened leather or raw hide that he put over an area he thought was vulnerable, because we don't find leather armor. It would rot through time. But let's get started and see what happens. Okay, we've got our trousers here. I'm going to put a little bit of padding. Somebody who's actually going to the effort to protect their knee, they might have a little more cloth behind it. And then the hardened leather. Remember, this knee is hard, the bones in the knee are hard. So I think the mannequin is a really good analog for this. All right, we have our Skyrim guard over here with the only armor that they could afford, which is hardened leather, which, yes, is a historically accurate armor. They did have hardened leather. We know this for a fact. We're going to test this out. It's usually highly protective, but hopefully for this guard it is, because apparently they've already taken an arrow to the knee, and if they take another one, they probably won't be able to even walk around to be a town guard. Because technically, if you took an arrow to the knee, it could cut tendons, which would impair your ability to walk at all. It could lodge into a bone and not be able to be removed and cause an infection. It could shatter the bone and grow back incorrectly and cause you to be severely hobbled. So yes, let's see what happens here, and we'll see if we can protect. I would say the leather did its job. It looks like it hit here, but it's very difficult to tell. The leather took no damage whatsoever from the pointed bodkin style. So since it took no damage whatsoever, I think we should go up to the razor heads or actually broadheads and see what happens if we can cut that leather. Razor head. Oh, not good.
That wasn't the armor, dude.
No.
We know that without the armor, at least it goes right through the bloody leg.
Oh, most certainly. Razor head to the knee. Ooh. Let's see how our warrior fared. That actually went into the leather. So we need to check this out. We have to take this off to examine it. Hailed into the leather, the hardened leather, but it didn't make it all the way through the gambeson, or the little bit light padding. Now I know that's at an angle, and yes, you could say that might make it into your knee, but I don't think that'd be deep enough to take you out of the adventuring right away. Because if you straighten that out, you would only had about maybe an inch penetration. I doubt that'd be enough with the padding behind it. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get this out of this hardened leather. Ooh, direct hit. I'm confident I got that guard. This guard is never going to adventure again, if he ever did. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. The knee looks unscathed. The padding has done its job, a little bit of padding, light padding. And even with a direct hit, I know I had said it would go in about an inch. That's maybe at the most a half to 3/4 of an inch, not that much.
Sorry. Having issues with light angles, sweetie.
So hardened leather, which you could even have more, this is fairly light, could save your life. So not to bring that up, but in
Probably
that
save your knee.
Yeah, or save your knee. But in that Matt Pat reply I had, he talked about leather armor being junk or trash armor. I don't know. I think if somebody was wearing something like this early period, which is no proof that they had this in the Viking Age, but I'm pretty sure they could have. It's just hardened leather.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
The bigger cities now, and we have a guard that's highly paid because he has plate armor. He has a plate knee cap. Those are fairly thick. They can be thicker than other parts of the armor and still not weigh it down that much. I doubt this is going to go through because this is just a mild steel bodkin shape. It's not a true bodkin. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and shoot it just to see if we can take his knee out.
How the heck did you manage that?
This I'm unsure of, but the knee is safe. I think I actually hit the metal and it glanced through the strap.
Glanced down into the strapping.
The strapping. I don't think you'd be aiming at knee caps. I think you'd be aiming at open areas. Anything where there's an opening. Yes, there's openings in plate because there's half plate, 3/4 plate. Not everybody's wearing full plate. You'd aim some spot that you could actually hit. And like I thought, it did not go through the plate. It just stopped instantly, probably damaging the mild steel tip, and bounced off. I don't even think it did it. Come up and take a look at it. We got a dent. We have a dent. Actually, so that's promising. Maybe we should try a razor head. But this Reeker guard here, Rich guard, is definitely unscathed. We dented it. It dented it. But it didn't go through, of course. This might have, if he had articulations, this might have made it hard for his knee to bend properly if they're really tight articulations. We have our Rich guard, and he has plate armor. I have my hardened steel broadhead, and the thing about razor heads like this that are hardened steel, they weren't common back then, but it's probably not going to make it all the way through from the shape. We do have something promising to go by. A mild steel bodkin-like head, which would be very much like an iron bodkin head, dented it. They put a nice substantial dent in it. This means this might be promising, might have something. Let's go ahead and see what happens.
Did on hit finally.
Poor knee cap. We actually have a piercing, it looks like, into the actual metal slightly. We'll see how deep it went, but it actually punched a hole. But the knee is totally protected. Let me get that off there so you can see that. That is impressive. The thing about hardened arrows, they improve your ability a lot to pierce armor. They were used sometimes late century when they were easier to get a hold of, but look at that. I am highly impressed. That's nothing that can't be just hit with a hammer. If I take a hammer and put it on a dishing stump and hit it a few times, I can knock these dents out, and that will actually seal back up. You'll never even hardly know that it was there. But still, that is impressive. So that shows how powerful our bow is, that it was even able to do that, and it shows that that leather was extremely protective. The hardened leather is being underestimated by everybody, including Matt Pat over at the Game Theorist, saying that our leather jerkin or something, or vest if it was hardened leather, would be crap. I know you can't cut through it, and I'm sorry, but that's impressive. That's what the steel actually did. So I hope you all enjoyed our episode here. I hope you all subscribe and like our channel. Going to be coming out with the Falx video, where we're making actually Roman scutums and try to make them as period as possible to test that with, because we want to do a full-out test with the actual Falx and see how it worked against the Roman scutum. And we're also going to do our samurai armor video. The first mobility testing of the armor, which should be fairly extreme stuff. And then we'll come back with our actual weapons test on it and then our extreme weapon test on it. That's be coming out soon. I hope you all enjoyed the episode and having fun with our town guards in Skyrim. And guys, please don't take an arrow to the knee out there. Farvel.